Mage Deck Building. I am your host, Demo, and more spoiler videos coming out here, of course, but we had a commander come out that I thought was so significant it probably deserved its own video, and I'm sure there's been a lot of buzz about this already, so I'm going to give my take on it. Haven't really given a really hard look at it yet, so this will be the first time I'm doing that. So let's take a look. It's Atraxa Grand Unifier. That's right, another Atraxa. Wow. So, I mean, first of all, this is incredibly impactful for the reason that Atraxa is currently the most popular commander in the entire format and has been at the top or very close to the top ever since it first came out, like, what, 6 or 7 years ago now. The other impactful part here is this, just like the original Atraxa, is a 4-color commander. So we got another 4-color commander in the format, and whenever that happens, that's a really big deal. This is only the second commander with this color combination. Of course, the first being the original Atraxa. Of all the 4-color combinations, we now have 2 of them that have 2 commanders in each, right? So this is very, very significant, obviously. A lot more expensive, this one. So 3 green, white, blue, and a black Phyrexian Angel, 7/7. So it's a lot more expensive. 7 mana is a lot. So I imagine we're going to get an even more powerful version here. Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. All the abilities that Atraxa already has. And of course, those are a fantastic combination of abilities. But what else is she doing here? When Atraxa Grand Unifier enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the real cards in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Oh boy. So, I'll say this. First of all, this doesn't really work in the other Atraxa deck, which I kind of like. I was kind of hoping that I was like, I hope it's not similar to the other Atraxa, because then it's just going to automatically slot into the Atraxa decks that already exist. I guess you could. You reveal the top 10 cards of your library. That's a whole lot. For each card type, you may put that. I mean, it can work in the other Atraxa deck. I don't know if it's a great fit. I mean, it's a card that is always going to be good because it's a 7/7 Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink creature that's guaranteed going to put at least 2 or 3 cards in your hand no matter what you're doing, right? Even if you're playing an Atraxa Super Friends deck, you're still going to get likely a Planeswalker, and then probably, you know, for each card type, so you can get a land here, maybe an instant or a sorcery, right? So I would imagine, regardless of the deck you are playing here, I would probably say you're going to get 3 cards in your hand when this enters the battlefield. Now, that being said, oh, wait a minute. I just saw something. You look at the reminder text at the bottom there. The card types are Artifact, Battle. What the heck is a battle? That's a new card type. Wow. Haven't seen one yet, but looks like we got a new card type here. Artifact, creature, enchantment, instant land, planeswalker, sorcery, and battle. So there is a new card type now in the game of Magic. Also very significant. I haven't seen one yet. I don't know what it is. Is it a permanent or is it a spell? You know, I guess we'll find out. But obviously, that's just going to, I mean, that on its own really, really is significant, man. Because now you have Tarmogoyf, for example, right? That, you know, there's lots of cards in the game that are looking for card types. So the fact that we have another card type in the game of Magic, that's huge. So many huge, important things going on here. A lot to swallow. Okay, let's evaluate this, though, as a commander. Okay, your commander costs a lot. It costs 7 and 4 colors. Now, the 4 colors, because you're in green, isn't really a big deal. Even if you weren't in green, by the time you get to 7 mana, you're probably going to have the appropriate colors you need. So casting this, as far as the colors I need here, that's not going to be an issue, because if you're ever, by the time you get to 7 mana, you're going to have the colors you need guaranteed. That's not going to be an issue. Again, just if there's no build around here at all, and this is the part that I kind of don't love about this is even more open-ended than the original Atraxa, right? Because you can play literally any deck here. You can play just a 4-color good stuff deck with this commander. And what you're going to get from your commander is you're going to get a giant flying vigilance death touch lifelink creature that can be your win con because you have that magic number of 7, which is great for commander damage. You know, as we've all known, I'm sure everyone out there has played against an Atraxa deck at some point, and that combination of abilities is so fantastic because your commander already has evasion, which is great, has vigilance, which means you can very easily attack with it and still leave it up as a blocker, is going to gain you life, which is super underrated in the format because it just keeps you from dying, and also has the death touch, which means people aren't going to want to block and people aren't going to want to attack into you because they'll probably lose their creatures. So just that alone is fantastic and makes it so that you can use this commander at the helm of any deck. Any 4-color deck, this is going to be a great commander for you. And then on top of that, you get that fantastic value from your commander entering the battlefield. And again, even if you don't build around that at all, and it would be very easy to do so because you just have to put some blink effects in here, right? Conjurer's Closet, anything like that. And you're in 4 colors, so you're going to have a ton of options there. I'm an absolute ton of options, right? You can put in, right? There's no cast trigger, nothing. Nope. So it's just a Conjurer's Closet, Teleportation Circa, Thassa Deep Dwelling to have those repeatable effects, or anything else like the one-shots, the ephemerates, all of that. You can even put in like a Malachor Rebirth in here so that when your commander gets killed, which it likely eventually will, 1 black mana and I get it back. Not only do I get it back, but I get the ETB again as well. And like I said, if we're not building around this at all, I mean, you want different card types. That's every deck, right? It's unless you're playing an artifact or enchant, like you don't want to play enchantment tribal here or artifact tribal probably. And again, Super Friends is probably not great. But even then, you're likely going to get at least 3 cards in your hand. And if you play a typical commander deck, you're going to have all the different card types in there. I mean, whatever these battles are, throw that in there as well. Throw in a couple planeswalkers to really mix it up. Again, that which to me lends itself heavily to a just good stuff strategy or just about any strategy. And you can easily get 5-6 cards off of your commander probably entering the battlefield. I mean, even if you're not that lucky, I think the minimum you're going to get off your commander is 3 cards in hand, and it probably will be better than that. So just a commander that for sure is going to be super popular in the format, no question. Again, because it's one of those commanders that is incredibly open-ended, that you can do literally anything with, incredible value. Yes, it is expensive, but it doesn't really matter because your commander is, the 2 things you want from your commander here are A, it's a finisher that you play later in the game and, now you're low in life and you can start gaining your life back and you can close out the game by having this giant flying creature that can kill for commander damage even if your opponents have a lot of life left. And the other thing you want from it is refilling your hand, which again is something you're going to want to do later in the game anyway. So the fact that it costs a lot is just not even that big of a downside in my opinion. And then again, once you get it out, you already got your Conjurer's Closet. You already got your, whatever else you have ready to go. So this is going to be a popular one for sure. Is it going to be, I don't know if it's going to get top 10 status necessarily because it is a little pricey, but people like more colors. I just did my color combinations video, and for those who aren't aware, go watch the video. 5 colors is the most popular color combination in the format by far, and the reason I think mostly is because you don't have the restrictions. You can just put whatever you want in your deck, so it lends itself to any strategy. Because if I want to play an enchantment tribal deck, if I pick a 5-color commander, even if that 5-color commander isn't a great fit for what I'm doing, it just allows me to choose any enchantment I want or any enchantment support that I want. No matter what the theme you have is, picking a 4 or 5-color deck is just going to open you up to more possibilities, right? Not to mention it's going to open you up to, now I get to use ramp, I get all the white removal, which is the best removal. I get blue counter spells. I get black tutors, right? So the more colors you have, it's in the commander format, it's in every other format, more colors is typically a bad thing because you need the mana base and all that. In commander, it's a little more expensive, but other than that, it's pretty much all upside. So the fact this is 4 colors is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So it's a reason for people to go after it. So this is going to be, if I had to make a prediction right now, I think it's entirely likely that the top 2 commanders in the entire format by this time next year are Atraxa and Atraxa. Definitely could see that happening. So that is it. That is all. Let me know what you think of this new commander. Is it going to be as popular as I think? Is it going to be maybe the most popular commander at some point? Again, the open-endedness and the power level, those are the kinds of things that people usually go after. You look at commanders like Golos and Muldrotha and the original Atraxa and, cards like that were at the top or very close to the top for a long, long time. Those are commanders that have powerful abilities that, most importantly, are very open-ended, that you can go in a lot of different directions with. So that's why I think this commander is going to end up close to the top or maybe even at the top at some point. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. But that is it for today, and thanks for tuning in.